remembered things. I checked dates and facts and corroborated my accounts with friends and family. But my stories are decidedly impressionistic rather than repertorial. This is how I remember my time on my father's campaign. Another thing this book doesn't do intentionally: score settling. Lots of political memoirs are written with an axe to grind. The embittered writer comes off like the wisest or folksiest person around. And if the world had just listened to her, everything would have been fantastic. Well, I really hope this book isn't like that. I'm not a politician trying to drum up support. I have no plans to ever run for office. My hope is to present a unique account of history without compromising it with attempts to make myself look really good. I turned 23 and 24 while on the road campaigning, and as you will see, my age and inexperience showed. I don't have a secret agenda, in other words. Aside from wanting to be honest, entertaining, and also insightful about a particularly interesting election in our nation's history, my hope is that this book will encourage readers to become involved in the democratic process and look at politics in a new way. If I'm totally honest with myself, the only score that I may be trying to settle is one with the Republican Party, which seems to have lost its way in the last 10 years. I realize that it is ironic that this book tells the story of my own struggle to get my act together, but it is one of the bizarre realities of life that you can be a mess yourself, but still see so clearly what is wrong with others. I used to joke that I'm hooked on taking the red pill, a reference to the science fiction movie The Matrix, in which the main character Neo is taking the red pill and choosing to face the reality of the Matrix, rather than taking the blue pill and wanting to believe in a lie. When I meet somebody new, I will sometimes say he's taking the blue pill. That means he is living in a dream world. Here's my dream. The political party that identifies with the color red should start taking pills of the same color. Honesty, individualism, freedom. Back in the day, these concepts were the bedrock of the Republican Party. It wasn't that long ago either. I'm old enough to remember Barry Goldwater, the late senator from Arizona. He was a great conservative visionary, a man of great charm and a playful spirit. As a little girl, I remember goofing around with him. Once when he and I were having our picture taken together, I stuck my tongue out at him. Without a moment's pause, Senator Goldwater stuck out his tongue at me right back. Like my dad, Barry Goldwater had an independent spirit. He was a natural leader and a natural politician, and even though he ran for president and lost, the principles that he stood for endured and inspired a generation of conservatives who followed him. He believed passionately in freedom and protecting the rights of the individual, ideas that became fundamental to Ronald Reagan 20 years later and would lead to his success. Goldwater's lifelong crusade against groupthink and the expansion of federal government continue to be relevant today, as we wonder where the Obama bailouts and big programs will take us and our country. I love the ideas of Barry Goldwater and what he left behind. Yes, his vision was anti-big government, but even more than that, it was pro-people and pro-freedom. He believed in making room and space for individuals to live their own lives and create relationships and families and businesses with as little interference from others as possible. It was about removing fences, not building them. It was about tolerance. It was about appreciating differences and new ideas. He was called Mr. Conservative, and in Goldwater's dream for America, and the one he fought for his entire life, there was room for everybody to flourish. These days, the name Ronald Reagan, as well as his legacy, has become oversaturated, just white noise. Conservatives love to evoke him, using him as an example of whatever brand of politics they happen to be selling. But what they seem to have forgotten is that moderates and Democrats elected Ronald Reagan, not the far right. The ideas that he stood for, freedom, the individual, and self-reliance, appeal to a broad political spectrum. He believed that it was our independent spirit and our differences that made this country great. I have to wonder if he and Goldwater were alive today and could see where their party has gone in the last decade, what they would think. Somehow the walls closed in. The conservative movement seems hell-bent on constricting our freedoms rather than expanding them. The base has moved to the far right, and sadly, it seems to be dying there. Rather than the party of openness and individual freedom, it is now the party of limited message and less freedom. Along with an ideological narrowness, an important PR battle is being lost. Rather than leading us into the exhilarating fresh air of liberty, a chorus of voices on the radical right is taking us to a place of intolerance and anger. We hear them on the radio and TV. They love to spread fear because it keeps the money rolling in. You know who I'm talking about. The more afraid we are, the richer they get. If they have their way, we will be scared all the time, particularly of ideas that seem new or foreign or different, even if they are great ideas, even if they are in support of freedom. Rather than being the party of limitless freedom